Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay. This is Casimiro. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my collection, including some new additions. I think it's a new 2DS XL modded. I got a Gamecube modded, and I also ended up getting a Retron 5. Luckily, I got my tax return this time, so luckily I was able to use some of my tax return to splurge a little bit, which this is not a normal occurrence. I'm really excited and grateful that I got some money back and I was able to grow the collection a little bit. So right now I've really been enjoying Baton Kaitos. Did I say it right? Baton Kaitos. It's originally for the GameCube, I believe, at least the version I'm playing, and it is wonderful. The atmosphere is so immersive, the story is great, the voice acting is cheesy, but it just really soothes the soul. It's really wonderful.
Product not yet rated.
A long time ago it was, before people began to dwell in the sky. A terrible war was waged between us humans and the wicked god. After the horrendous battle, our ancestors entombed the wicked god and left the polluted and barren earth to find their future in the skies.
In this world, there are things that people mustn't touch. Who cares?
The god of demise and destruction, the cursed power of Marpetru.
The end, Magnus? Never heard of that before.
Damn, the bastards.
It's unthinkable to act against the Empire?
Great heroes are just so busy.
I've been waiting.
Finish him. He will inflict a catastrophe upon the Empire.
Let us trust
Just
the young
one more.
who hold the spirit within them.
Only such a battle will fill the void within you and soothe the agony inside.
From when did you know?
No dead weight!
No way!
Only hope, the lost ocean.
Awaken! God of the past!
Now, be what you want to be.
Someday you will know what you are meant to be.
And not new, but I've been getting further and further into Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, which I'm playing on the Steam Deck on and off, also on my computer. And the orchestra is excellent. I love the story, battle mechanics. The quality of life features in the new remaster version of Final Fantasy VIII make it so much easier for newcomers to the series to go back and check out some of these older titles. So with Final Fantasy VIII, I believe it's available on the Nintendo Switch, it's available on Steam, and it's also available, of course, on PlayStation. So with that, you get the ability to speed up battles, so you don't spend a lot of time going through, especially because a lot of these older JRPGs do have that element of grinding, which personally I find very peaceful. I love just listening to podcasts and going through the motions of grinding whenever I need to level up in order to be able to get through a dungeon, get through a boss. But for people who maybe get a little bit more antsy and are more used to the modern sensibilities of games nowadays, there is that feature, and that's really helpful. There's also the ability to turn off random encounters altogether, and if you're struggling, there's also the power up capability. And for the most part, I think that is a lot of it. It's also beautifully remastered. The audio and orchestra is incredible, of course. The music is, of course, composed by Nobuo Uematsu, who is traditionally the composer for a lot of the older Final Fantasy, I shouldn't say older, classic Final Fantasy titles, and he does not miss with this one. So for me, it's been such a treat to see 3 games, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, and Final Fantasy 9, 3 games that came out one after the other, literally within the span of maybe 3 to 4 years, one coming out a year after the other, and having the art direction for each installment be so radically different. Despite the success of Final Fantasy 7 with its amazing graphics for the time, also its steampunk, high fantasy direction that took a lot of risk, and then having Final Fantasy 8 that takes on a more realism approach to its direction, to be followed up by the incredible risk of Final Fantasy 9 with its high fantasy, chibi art style, and its call back to older titles, just makes this series so nuanced and multifaceted. I'm really excited to explore more titles. I know that Final Fantasy 8 gets a lot of bad rap, but I've been really enjoying my time with it, and I'm hoping to finish it within the coming weeks so I can perhaps make a video on it. Also, in case you're wondering, there are some new additions to the video game shrine. I got some cool SNES cartridges from a local retro game shop here in Portland. Some ROM hacks are included in there. But I also got some new controllers, especially the 8BitDo SNES Controller Pro. That works really well on the Retron 5, which famously comes with some very lackluster controllers, but has otherwise been a really good system, and it's been fun learning all the ins and outs of the Retron 5. I also got some new Game Boy Advance games, which are right here in the middle. And overall, I have my Switch games in these 2 tubs, and below I have my Xbox games. I decided to display my Ambernick Cube XX. Yes, I got the name. And finally, I also have a piece of art from Etsy. It's a collection of slimes climbed up on top of each other, and it's by Blue Potion Art, which is great. I'll show it off in a little bit. I do want to get a frame, but for now, I think brings in a lovely touch of color to this very black and gray pegboard. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the new additions. So yeah, here we have the Retron 5, which is a device that is good if you're a retro game collector. It has the ability of playing Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, Famicom, Super Famicom, and Sega Genesis games. So yeah, this has been really cool to learn about. Right now I have the Dragon Ball Z Gokuden cartridge in the SNES Super Famicom slot, and I will say that the Super Famicom games are a lot easier to put in and get out. Otherwise, the Super Nintendo games are a little too snug, and sometimes because of how cheap the material is, you feel like you're gonna break the console when you're taking out the Super Nintendo games. So yeah, I really like that you have the ability to play Super Famicom games. Right now, as I'm learning more about this device, I realize that I need an English patch in order to play this game. So once you get your English patch into the micro SD card, there is a slot in the Retron 5 in order to put that in. You could also, I believe, play ROMs that way, but
okay.
I'll have to learn a little bit more about what that looks like. So that will be maybe info for a future video. But yeah, and this is the controller I was talking about. That's not that great. It is Bluetooth. I'm just not used to the layout and not having like the kind of the markers on the buttons that I'm used to kind of makes it a little bit confusing for me to play games. So I ended up instead going with the 8-bit Do Super Nintendo Classic Pro controller that is also Bluetooth. So it doesn't have some of the capabilities that the other controller has, such as a home button, but there are plenty of ways to get around that if you just look and do a simple search online. So yeah, this is a lot cooler. The form factor is a lot nicer, a lot more comfortable, sleeker, and a lot of what I'm used to when it comes to playing some of the retro SNES and Super Famicom games. So yeah, this is one of the splurges. And let me show you some of the other games that I got for the Retron 5. Next, we have the original Romancing Saga for the Super Famicom. And like the other one, I'm going to have to get an English patch on it. It shouldn't be too difficult. It was just something I was not expecting. But regardless, this was a pretty cheap find. I got it at the same retro game shop where I got the Gokuden game. And something worth knowing as well is that Retron 5 will not play ROM hacks. So Live Alive is, of course, a game that came out in Japan only and did not have an English translation. So with this one, because it's not the original Super Famicom cartridge, it won't work on the Retron 5 because it's technically a ROM hack altogether. So that's the tricky part about Retron 5 that I'm learning. If there is someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable on this, feel free to sound off in the comments. But yeah, you can play ROM hacks as long as you have like, what do you call it? The repro cartridge or the original cartridge. So as long as it has the original title without having the ROM hack installed within it, then you can play it. It doesn't have to be the original. It can just be, a repro like I mentioned. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to play Live Alive, but luckily I have it elsewhere, so I will be playing that instead. But yeah, I kind of bummed out about it. And then the same thing happened when I got Earthbound Halloween Hack. So once again, if I had the original Earthbound and then installed the Halloween hack in a micro SD card and then just patched it in later, I think Retron 5 does allow you to do that. It's just when it's a ROM hack altogether that it gets, a little confused and won't play it. But regardless, all these finds were pretty affordable, and at least I went to the local retro game shop here in Portland, which is Top of the Line Games, instead of buying it on Amazon or whatever. So yeah, this has been a learning opportunity for me, but I'm excited knowing this, that hopefully I won't make the same mistake again, and hopefully I'll share this with other people so you avoid that mistake. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to at least play 2 of these games, right? Once I get the English patches. Next, we have this lovely black and orange GameCube, which if you're looking for a modded GameCube in 2025, I really recommend Etsy. I know people often recommend Etsy, eBay, and other sites, but experiences with Etsy have been great for me so far. This one came with a memory card. It also has Swiss capabilities. It's in pretty good condition. It is used, but it's been great. It came with a controller, which is not the best. So maybe down the line, I'll be able to get one of those wireless controllers that used to be really popular back in the day. I think they still sell them, hopefully. But for now, I'm happy with the controller I have. I realize that the 2 GameCube controllers, like the buttons and the quality aren't that great, but I don't know if that was a thing for the GameCube controller in general, just compared to controllers nowadays, but the form factor in itself is very comfortable. I just wish I had something a little bit better quality. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. But yeah, I've been playing some great RPGs on this. I feel like the GameCube is an underrated powerhouse when it comes to RPGs back in the day. So I'm excited to explore them further. I'll be honest, one of my favorites is Star Fox Adventures, which I know a lot of people hated because it went away from the traditional Star Fox kind of formula, but I really enjoyed it, and I kind of wish they would have been more successful with that. Perhaps if they would have stuck with the original Dinosaur Planet idea and didn't really go and include Star Fox as an IP, they would have had a better reception. It was rare through and through, so I was really disappointed when we didn't get any further games for Star Fox Adventures. That's going to be one of the games that I have on the lookout. So hopefully either at my local retro game stores or I'm able to find one online. But I really want to replay that because, yeah, it was one of my favorites back in the day. And for this next part, and last part, I'll be going over the wonderful 2DS XL. You can hear that. I miss themes. This is beautiful. This is Zelda 30th anniversary. It has all the characters right here. And I have it set to shuffle, so I'm gonna close it and then open it back up. Also have a Pikmin one, which is adorable. See all the Pikmin characters. The volume doesn't go higher, but hopefully you can hear the song pretty well. Here we have Olimar. And I'll do it once more. Hopefully we can get the OG. Okay, I had a really lovely Pokemon Classic theme in here, but I'll just move on for the sake of the video. So here we have the Virtual Console, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, Retro Pocket, it's UFO interactive game. I wonder if there's any connection with UFO 50, I don't know. Then we have Zelda Minish Cap, which is an absolute classic on the Game Boy Advance. Shin Megami Tensei Apocalypse. Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden.
Let's go!
A Tales game. We have Tales of the Abyss. I miss these animations. Aren't these so cool? Stella Glow, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux, Brain Challenge, then Dragon Quest Monsters 3, The Joker. I'm really excited to play this one. This one only came out in Japan, but there are English patches. Then we have F-Zero, originally released for the SNES. And then, of course, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Yokai Watch 3. Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. Breath of Fire 2, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, Castlevania Dracula X, Fear Rhythm Dragon Quest, which I'm really excited to play. It is in Japanese. It never got localized to English, but I think I can pick it up, and I'm excited to just dive into some classic Dragon Quest music. Speaking of which, we have Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, another theater rhythm game. This one is in English, Final Fantasy Current Call, Castlevania Mirror of Fate, one of the best RPGs in the Nintendo DS library, Radiant Historia, Attack of the Friday Monsters, A Tokyo Tale, which if you have been enjoying the Crayon Shin-chan games, a lot of them are inspired by Boku no Natsuyasame, which are classic, cozy, coming-of-age stories set in rural Japan. So a lot of these games are inspired by Boku no Natsuyasame. I'm excited to explore this one. This one is only available on the Nintendo 3DS. Then we have Sadame, which is another great game. Devil Summoners Soul Hackers, Bravely Default, the original Shin Megami Tensei 4, and that's it. There are some games that I had in a separate folder right here, like of course Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Zelda: A Link Between Worlds,
New Super Mario Brothers 2,
New Super Mario Bros. 2,
Super Mario 3D Land,
Super Mario 3D Land, then Animal Crossing, which looks adorable, and other games that I'll go over another time. But look at Kirby Playing a Robot. I love these animations. They're so iconic. Like, once again, the 3DS library is just unmatched, so wonderful, and I'm excited to play these games and talk about them further in a later video. For now, thank you so much for watching my video. Just like, this has been probably the most I've ever shown, and most I've ever gotten in a short period of time, but that tax return came in clutch. So with that said, thank you. Feel free to watch my past videos, and feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Have a great day.